What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Showtime is Blaze again with King's Critiques. Back to the Monster Wants to Eat Me. In the last episode, we found out the backstory and exposition as for how Shiori and Hinako met, and the reasoning behind why she's still alive and her parents, unfortunately, got nixed. I mean, we knew the reason, but we now know the proper timeline. It wasn't because Shiori saved her post-accident. It was something that happened prior, so it was just merely a coincidence. But hopefully she approaches Hinako to explain such in this episode. Will she? Who knows? We shall see. For now, let me remind, hit the like button, subscribe, let the whole video run through the limit of the watch them, because it's the literal hardest part of this whole thing. And that said, another bit about Shiori and Hinako's past, and that's why the white is in her hair like that. Yeah, that white. I know I usually save the intro and outro again for the finale, but there's a lot of times the finale does not show the intro and outro, and Katakawa is honestly a consistency for that being a thing. So you know what, I think I'm going to watch the intro and outro for this one for y'all on the orange side, so if you don't want to watch it and you're watching over on the orange side, which I've cut this bit out of the red side anyway, so it doesn't matter I'm saying it like that. Regardless, if you're on the Patreon side, skip along this if you don't want to check it out, but I figure I'll show my respect on this episode, because I don't know if it'll even be on the next episode. The way the intro ends really does say that maybe by the end of things she is going to get her wish and die, but her friends are going to be by her side, so is it, like, going to be something amicable? Is it going to be one of those things where they, like, have a proper fight at the end, and unfortunately Hinako is the one that loses her life? Still up to debate. Or maybe it's like more of a metaphor. Literally my thoughts every single day. Meanwhile, just the casualness. Yeah, that's helpful. I mean, yeah, that's actually not really helpful. I was going to say a bit about if a really pretty girl said that to me, I'd probably have a little bit more faith in things. But also, I see that kind of bullshit on social media a lot. A lot. So, I mean, I'm going to take this into one of my ranting moments. I do apologize, but listen, no matter how many times a super pretty girl says, "You being alive is good enough. It's awesome. You should keep striving to do you." Yeah? Should I? Are you going to help cure my depression? No? Then saw it off. I still want that one on the right to come up in conversation at some point, because, like, if she was supposedly immortal from eating mermaid flesh, then that means that explosion that basically left her as a head from what we saw should mean she's still reconstructed and is alive somewhere, shouldn't it? Or is it like in the case of Jason's mother, where she's literally just a head on a pedestal somewhere? Meanwhile, she's like, "Bitch, I will break in your house just to make sure you're alive." I'm gonna break in, just gonna yell at her. She's just... I understand that level of depression, though. Like, you have someone come over unannounced, unwanted, and you just kind of go to the door like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" I have that a lot myself. Not because I'm like... I mean, I am constantly in a state of depression, but, like, I've never had somebody bother me because I'm in a state of depression. Honestly, I think maybe if I had, that would help some, but nobody actually cares about people's depression nowadays. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. But I wish I had, that kind of thing go down. So people just come over to be annoying if they come over. God, especially the times when it's, the main person who's annoying being my cousin. Respectable man, very, very good at everything he does. Jealous of him, really. But it's one of those things where if somebody comes over unannounced, it's one thing when themselves to just, like, chat about stuff or, have a smoke or something. But it's another thing when they come over unannounced with 1 to 3 bratty children who you'd rather hit with a baseball bat than let into your house. Honestly, I think the best time I ever had with all of them here was the one time I got to see the oldest hit one of the youngest with a can of cat food, because it shows just how mediocre the parenting between those two are. I don't mean to talk shit, they're my family, but also watch your kids better if they're doing shit like that. And he sometimes watches my stuff, so if he overhears this, well, I respect you guys, I do, but I'm not the one who's supposed to tell your kids not to do things. You are. Speaking of bratty children, if you ever have kids, don't give them something remote controlled that you're not watching them use, because then they'll end up like with it on the roof or something. And right now, hope that's not a good thing, because my neighbor did that yesterday. You know, a little kid just wanted to show off his new toy. It ended up on the roof, and now it is raining outside. So hopefully that doesn't get too damaged, because I don't take responsibility for that. I tried to help how I could, but I'm not a tall individual. I mean, you're not wrong, but you knew she wasn't sick to begin with. Also, Miko, aren't you constantly faking sick not to go to school because of your yokai illness? So, is Miko actually gonna come to Shiori's aid on this one and bring up she was lying to you the whole time? But to help, as weird as that sounds coming from that fish. You know, she never foresaw what was going to happen. She only did that to help you as an individual. She called her a creep, but she is about to give her benefit of the doubt. When you put it like that, no. Just in general. But I don't think that's the first time she's actually appreciated someone saying they were happy she's alive. Though, technically, doesn't that mean Hanako's a little bit of a hypocrite? Because if she's thanking Miko for saying that she's happy that she's alive, and granted, yes, she did say the part about missing her family as well, shouldn't she also be thanking Shiori for that same thing? Because Shiori was happy that she was alive, not happy that her attitude got a complete 180 on it, but she was happy she was alive. Yeah, people often probably feel that way when those kind of things happen, but it didn't happen. So, honestly, it's the crazy part, because, like, in this exact kind of situation, she could have done so much more with. Like, I get the depression on it, I do. You know, I have at least one parent that I do care about through and through, and if the thing happens before it does with me, it's gonna be completely destroying. And granted, it might be the thing to get me to lock in as a literal do or die situation, but she also is young, attractive, has friends. She could use all of that to give herself reason to live and build something for herself to be able to live a happy life with those people she's close with. You know, even talking against the whole Yuri aspect, the whole relationship angle with one of these yokai until she's to the point of old enough to where that they might just eat her for, you know, that conclusion. She still has a lot more to offer than a lot of people in her situation, so it's the same thing as like celebrities that want to commit. I don't understand it because they have everything in life. Like, yeah, it's to the point of overwhelming, but I don't understand how it gets to the point of having that thought process. Like, I'm going to be selfish and talk about it on my end here. Like, the most I have is a parent and animals that rely on me existing to continue to help their well-being. A few fans on here that appreciate my content, and I do highly appreciate you guys as well. And for those of you that actually do enjoy what I say and do, dumbass drivers not able to handle the rain. Much as I appreciate the guys, those of you that do say things on here that are very helpful, very, you know, meaningful, please do try and share the stuff around, because, man, a few encouraging words just don't help as much as I would like them to. I'm sorry. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of watch time don't get done just from a few nice compliments. And, like, the selfishness in me on this statement is more, I want one of two things to happen by the time I'm left on my own. And the one I'm closest to is this. So, like, yeah. I'm not gonna get into too much of a rant about it, because if I do, I have to add it out a lot, and that's not fun. So, I'm just gonna leave it at that. And Hinako, I understand where she's coming from with her depression. I would feel the same if the one person that actually mattered to me had something unfortunate happen. But also, she has a lot in her own life to live for. Meanwhile, Shiori was probably in the area, and she is completely aware of that. I was about, I was actually about to say, meanwhile, she runs towards the water, and this bitch probably somewhere watching. It, it really is all the little sweet moments that they had together was just her building upon her own lie, but also trying to, like, give more life into Hanako's being. Oh, well, that's unnerving. But I guess because of the timing, we are actually going to get some kind of fight at the end. Because she's running towards a different kind of yokai that's calling to her from the ocean, and Shiori is probably going to come upon the scene and help. Damn, no fight, she's just going to appear to help out. This is going to be one of those rough love kind of things, isn't it? Yeah, she's pissed. Now, she was about to choke her out, but then she was like, no, I told her I wasn't going to do that. Oh, the music? Building up really nicely. Like I said before, I don't know whether or not the next episode's going to have the intro and outro, so we're just going to watch it here. So, out of respect, we got that. Patreon side, y'all can skip. Of course, Patreon side, this could be good. I need to stop doing that. Alright, so that's the end of the thing. So, we have a wrap up of the. We have no idea what Shiori is going to talk about with Hinako, but we know it's going to be some very personal and important conversation. Obviously, I imagine the next episode is going to be the finale, unless this is a 13-episode season, in which case. But I do hope that the conversation does end up with a, I don't know, some kind of good ending. You know, maybe a fight with that creature from within the water. Maybe just them having a big conversation that comes down to, when it comes time for me to die, it better be you or Miko that does it. You know, that kind of thing. But I suppose we'll see in the next episode. I do relate to Hinako a lot on the whole wanting to die aspect, because, well, mentioned it a bunch of times, life is just one big depressive ball, and I might try to, like, keep a very high volume kind of thing when I'm doing these videos and such, but I mean, honestly, life in general, especially nowadays, is not one worth living if you don't have everything you need. I mean, I'm going to go into my own personal rant here for a minute, since it's the end of the episode and I have more time to do that. So if you don't want to hear my rant on either side, just skip along a little bit. But I mean, personally, while I do feel like that a lot of the time, and my thing requires, as I mentioned a bunch of times, two different things to happen. Either one or the other first. It doesn't matter which. You know, either one, this, you know, kicking off and me making consistent money instead of just like streaming and maybe get thrown a few bucks here and there. And that's the biggest thing I've been working at for a long time. If you keep into consideration the Pokemon channel. And now I have 3 channels I run, hoping that one of them does what it needs to do eventually. I have a lot of stuff in mind and in my head for not just the reactions and reviews here, but other stuff I could start doing. You know, other than my sporadic, hey, here's a, once a month, here's anime related to the holiday of the month you can binge. March doesn't have one of those, so at least that's easier. I mean, yeah, I could recommend like Undead Unluck because I've never seen that, so it doesn't really fit. And like, what do you suggest for luck-based anime? Luck-based anime is literally just the isekai genre. Oh, hey, I left my old shitty life and now I'm here with a big bunch of tittied anime women. Cool. Sorry. The other end of what would make my life more livable would be finding love. I have been robbed of love for a very long time. And do you want to know the kind of thing that happens when I try to, look for a partner on one of the dating apps? Because dating in reality just doesn't exist anymore. I'm sorry. What I get on dating apps now is, oh, hey, you're really cool. You're a sweet person. I can connect you. You're kind of cute, too. Hey, have you thought about joining my OnlyFans? It's like, why? Why is, I'm sorry if I'm using the word for what it is, but why is every single person, I'm going to imagine there's probably some men that do this too, on a dating app that's just, well, for sake of YouTube burying me less, I won't say the P word, but an SW. That I'm sure you can figure out what I mean. It's just crazy how things work like that, but fucking whatever. One of these days we will come full circle. One of these days things like OF will be just outright banned from most countries, which would be a good thing for normal people. Or at least restricted, turning it back into Patreon number 2. Because I'm pretty sure that's what it originally and started with the intention of, was to be the kind of place people could, like, do work and post it for their fans. But instead it just turned into a brothel. Okay, I'm gonna just leave that there on that of, personally, my 2 things that would give me drive to want to enjoy life would be either career stuff kicking off, because I'm sorry, if I tried to work a general 9 to 5 retail of any kind, the first person to say something wrong to me would just be getting, because I can't control myself as well as other people. I'm not an alcoholic, I'm not a coffee drinker, I'm not a cigarette smoker. So the things that people usually do to calm down from people that deserve to get the shit kicked out of them, I don't have any of that. And, well, I don't think that most jobs would probably let people just go out to smoke a joint or something if that's what they need. Maybe some, but cigarette breaks don't count as joint breaks for people usually. But, that said, I'm gonna leave my own bitch and complaining about the realistic things of how my life works, and remind you, if you want to help with the work aspect of things, to hit the like button, subscribe, share this around, the shorts around, other content around, share something around because it helps out. Because the mega fuck ton of watch time that YouTube expects you to do, it's just not easy, man. Subscribe to the other stuff in the description, because as long as one of the 3 hits it, it's cool with me as if the other 2 slack. Ring bells, like Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok, Patreon, get the full unedited visual note of the stuff I upload here. That also helps quite a bit, because if you like subscribe over there, the Twitch, which was the next thing I was going to say, that does help put some form of something in my pocket to help for the long run, and a lot of that money does go back into this as well as this. But, yeah, I am trying to figure out free stuff to upload on the Patreon, like I mentioned in the last one. And I'll probably try to remember for others. But that all said, it's been the Blazer King with King's Critique. Sign out, ta for now.